Okay, so about 15 years ago. Oh gosh. So about 15 years ago, my parents bought me my very first gaming console, which was a GameCube. And I remember specifically where I got it. I was in a Sam's Club. I was like about 6 years old at the time, and I think the only reason that I got a GameCube was because everyone else had a GameCube. I never even heard about like GameCubes or like Game Boys or anything until like I got to school and kids were talking about it. Like that was my only source of information about like entertainment systems and whatnot. I practically lived under a rock, and so because I lived under a rock, I didn't even know like what games were good, like what games to get. And I just remember I just picked like the coolest looking games that I thought there were. So there was this 2-for-1 deal, and I picked Star Fox Adventures. And the second game I picked was Wario World, which was one of the most difficult games for a 6-year-old to play. I just remember like trying to play like the first 10 minutes of it, and I had absolutely no idea what to do. I think I got to like a save point at one point, but it didn't save, and then I had to start the game over again, and I just started the game over and over and over again. And I was just like, alright, I give up on this. So that was a waste of money. But then Star Fox Adventures, that was the first game that I ever played. I would Wario World like erased from my memory. Star Fox Adventures was honestly my very first GameCube game that I ever bought. It wasn't my favorite, but there was still this there's still the sentimental value behind Star Fox Adventures, because that was really one of the first games where I felt that my perspective and my world was brought into another realm. You know what I mean? Like you know how video games have that power to tell you this story and bring you into this new world and show you a new perspective. And that was my game. That was the very first time where I felt that like my whole mind was just like immersed in another dimension. So yeah, I was immersed in the gameplay. I was immersed in the dialogue, the story, the plot, and I loved every minute of it. And I think I spent like couple hours each day trying to get through like each and every level, and as a 6-year-old, like I can't comprehend as much. I even had the guidebook for the game, but it was still like very difficult for me because I couldn't like read very well. There was this one level that I got to, and it was very difficult for a 6-year-old kid. Basically what you had to do was like, they called it the test of fear or the test of courage, okay? And basically what you had to do was keep this white bar in between like this other green bar. Like it would keep going back and forth, and you had to use your controller to go left and right to keep that white bar within the green bar. And if it goes out, you would have to start the level over again, right? And so they call it the test of fear because while you're trying to do this, there's this cut scene in the background where like the main character, who is a fox, like a fox human person, okay, and he was being like attacked by these other dinosaurs, and there was like creepy music in the background. I think it was like creepy for me as like a 6-year-old kid, because like I don't know, I'm young, I'm scared of like a lot of things, right? But then there would be like jump scares at some times. Looking back on it now, it really wasn't that scary, but as a 6-year-old kid, I think like that really made my heart like just like jump even more whenever those jump scares came in, right? So after the first jump scare, the white bar just immediately went out the green bar, and I had to start the level over again, right? But it wasn't like you had to start the level right at that same exact spot where you play that game. You had to start all the way back at the beginning of the dungeon, this 3-layer dungeon, and then go through all the same puzzles again just to replay this one stupid part. And so I remember just like failing that first jump scare, and I was like, oh shoot, okay, I gotta do this again, right? And then got to the same part, passed it, but then there's another jump scare, and then I just kept failing it, right? And I was like, alright, I got it now. I know where the jump scares are. I know how to play this game. Like I got this, right? And then like literally the first second I played the level again, or this part again, like I failed it. And I failed it again and again and again and again, and then hours passed, and then days passed, and then weeks passed, and then months passed, and then finally I just gave up on the freaking game because it was so stupid. I was just like, I freaking hate this game. And I freaking hate that game. And so time just passed, and like I just never looked back on that game. And I just bought new games. Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, which was my favorite game, favorite GameCube game of all time, probably favorite Zelda game of all time, me too. Super Smash, obviously. Still play that game even today. Super Mario Sunshine, and Pokemon Coliseum, Pokemon XD. Oh my gosh, freaking love Pokemon, man. Went to middle school, high school. I bought an Xbox 360 because I think that's what basically what was cool at the time. And then started playing Call of Duty like 24/7, like every single week. And then I got into online games like MapleStory and League of Legends. Oh yeah, and like growing up, I never got to beat that one level where like that white bar was in the green bar. I never got to finish that level, and I was like maybe halfway through the game. I know this because I had the guide and it told me like where I was in terms of the game and how far I was to completing it. So I know like I was halfway through the game. And the crazy thing is that like I never got a chance to redeem myself because in middle school I can't remember the exact story. Even if I remembered, I would feel comfortable sharing about it. But I just remember that I think I got in trouble at some point. Maybe I got into a fight or something. I don't remember, but I think I was suspended or detention or something like that. But I remember going home and my dad took out the GameCube, and he took all my games in one box and he dumped it in the trash because he was so angry and pissed at me for getting in trouble. So that was like a huge hard time in my life. I know it sounds really sad, but like as I like been saying before, I was emotionally invested in video games, and so like to see to see my games being thrown out is like it's like watching a part of me die being thrown out in the trash, right? But I mean, eventually I got over it and I realized like they're just video games. Like it's not going to really like ruin any other aspect of my life. Like I still had a roof over my head, I still had four walls surrounding me, still had food on the table. That's a huge blessing in itself though, right? But yeah, like years passed, went through high school, played different video games, almost done with college now. So I'm on winter break right now, and usually every winter break, like I try looking for new video games to play, or sometimes a lot of times I just play League of Legends and I get tilted most of the times. I've been trying to climb out of bronze since high school. So I was just thinking, like, what video games can I play right now to quench my boredom, you know? So I went on YouTube, and there's this thing called an emulator that you can download on your laptop or your computer, and you could basically play like almost every gaming console that has been made so far, just from your laptop. And so I downloaded a GameCube emulator, and I didn't know exactly like what GameCube game I should download or what I should play. So I watched this video that said like 100 GameCube games in 10 minutes, right? And I was like, alright, well, I'm bound to find like one game within this one video, right? And I'll be inspired to play it and download it right away, right? And it got to like number like 40 something. I actually I don't even know, I just made up that number. I just remember throughout this list, like Star Fox Adventures popped up, and then the moment I saw that, this wave of nostalgia came over me, and this wave of like anger came over me too. And I was like, and I just remember, oh my gosh, like I never got to beat that level, I never got to finish that level and to beat that freaking game, that stupid freaking game. And so I was like, should I download this game? Should I play this game again? Because I remember like this game tilted me so hard, but at the same exact time, like I want to finish this game. What's funny is that like I already knew how the game would end it because I read it. I read the rest of the guidebook, and I was like, oh, okay, that's how the game ends if I ever got to finish the game. But a part of me was like still like, no, but I gotta complete it. I can finish it right now, right? And so that's what I did. I downloaded a Star Fox ROM. I don't even know what ROM stands for. I downloaded the game onto the emulator and immediately started playing. Like from the moment I started playing, it was just like, I remember this. I remember this level. I remember the things you had to do. I remember like I had to go to this place, I had to grab this item, I had to buy this thing. It was like a part of me was coming back to life again. It was like the child within me from back then, like as a 6-year-old, was coming back to life. That part of me should have died the moment that the GameCube and all my games like got thrown out, right? But it was coming back. It was like being resurrected. Eventually, it got to the same exact spot where I failed as a 6-year-old, and I was just like, it's weird, you know. I got to the part and I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this part. And my heart just started bumping and like pumping in and out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fail. But then another part of me was like, no. I'm 15 years older now. I'm smarter. I'm wiser. I have better instincts now. I have more control. I have better reflexes. Like, I can do this. Within like the first 5 seconds, I failed again, and I restart the level. But by the grace of God, I only had to restart the level like 2 more times, and that felt amazing. That was like completing a part of my childhood that I could not do as a little kid. You know what I mean? And it's like, for me, it's so important because I get so emotionally invested in video games. So this was like huge for me, and so I kept going throughout the game. And after I beat that level, I went on to the next level, and I was like, crap, I've never been on this level before as a little kid. You know, like I've literally only read stories about this game from my guidebook. But I was like, alright, like it's fine. I'm not gonna look up any cheats. I'm not gonna go online or anything. I'm just gonna play this game like the master I am, you know. I played, and then last night at like 2 a.m. I finally got to the end, and then I beat it. And then this peace fell over me. It was just like slumps, like, yeah, it's just like, wow, it's over. And I watched the ending credits, and I was like, damn, I can't believe I finally beat it. Can't believe I actually did this. Like, I'm really happy about myself. Turned off the game, turned off the laptop, got into bed, and I just started thinking. I basically abandoned that game the moment that I couldn't proceed through this one specific level. For the last 15 years, it was always like, it wasn't always on my mind. So, but I'm pretty sure, like, if I ever thought about it, I always think about that level, and I was like, dang, I really wish I had a GameCube so I could try beating it again. I remember just like last night lying in my bed and just thinking about it, and I was like, wow, so now a part of my childhood is complete. That sounds really strange. It sounds really nerdy, honestly, but it's just like, it feels so true though. After all these years, and I finally finished that game. Yeah, it's really like, it's like that child who I was before had finally grown up and is able to accomplish so much more than what he could have before. And it is just a video game. Like, I'm not talking about life, or I'm not talking about like like in the future when I have to pay taxes and when I get a job and when I look for like a future spouse or whatever. I'm not worried about any of that right now, but like, I'm just thinking about this freaking video game where this one level, just completing that and then completing the game itself. Like, that to me is like, it's like it just said to me that I've finally grown up. You know? It's weird. It's weird. Did you hear that? It's my dad vacuuming. I know it sucks. I'm gonna end the video right there.